fitting into the landscape as had been learned from his forebears, generation to generation. And in that singular moment, Hugh and the grouse saw each other for what they were. The bird recognized Hugh as a fellow creature of camouflage. He had conquered the grouse. But something had changed within him. He now felt a sharp comprehension of the animal's deepest thoughts and feelings. Though what those thoughts were precisely is not for us to discern. And so, as evening fell, he began his long return home. Across the pond of armored bark, through the forest of changing shapes, back to the castle. And what he saw at that moment surprised him more than anything thus far. Around the table, wrapped in attendance, were 5 fellow hunters. In the end, Hugh discovered that despite his free will, he still harbored the awesome power of instinct with which all of Earth's creatures were born. And just as Mother Nature had designed feathers to match the heather in the field, so had she created tweeds and hats and leather boots.